नमस्कार सबैजनालाई म मधु नेपाल न्याफको जेनरल सेक्रेटरी हाम्रो न्याफ पोडकास्ट केही समयदेखि रोकिरहेको थियो। हामी फेरि आएका छौँ नयाँ एपिसोडको साथमा र मसँग आज एकदमै हाम्रो सेकेन्ड जेनेरेसन नेप्लिज अमेरिकन हुनुहुन्छ। उहाँहरूको बारेमा कुराकानी गर्नेछौँ आजको यस एपिसोडमा। दिस सो इज स्पोन्सर्ड बाई सन्तोष स्थापित। सन्तोष स्थापित इज अ रियल इस्टेट एजेन्ट. So if you guys have any real estate related questions or things that you can contact him. santoshisthapitkeys.com visit गर्न पनि सक्नुहुन्छ. We are always emphasizing in youth development, youth motivation, youth mentorship, lot of youth program हामीसँग अलरेडी छँदैछन् र त्यसबाहेक पनि हामी चाहिँ युथहरूले चाहिँ के गरिरहेका छन् भन्ने कुरा बारेमा आज धेरै जानकारी लिनेछौँ। मसँग आज तीनजना यङ इन्जिनियरहरू हुनुहुन्छ। इन्जिनियर भन्दा सबैलाई जस्टिफाई नहुनु पनि सक्छ, उहाँहरूको लिटल बिट डिफ्रेन्ट छ एजुकेसन ब्याकग्राउन्ड, तर पनि उहाँहरूले चाहिँ मिलेर काम गरिरहनु भएको छ, इन्जिनियरिङको फिल्डमा पनि काम गरिरहनु भएको छ। मसँग हुनुभएको गेस्टहरूलाई म इन्ट्रोड्युस गराउँदै चाहन्छु। मसँग सबैभन्दा पहिला म नाम लिन्छु विपाशा श्रेष्ठ, जो चाहिँ युनिभर्सिटी अफ फ्लोरिडा बाट ब्याचलर अफ साइन्स इन बिजनेस एडमिनिस्ट्रेसन विथ इन्फर्मेसन सिस्टम पढ्नुभएको छ। उहाँको चाहिँ 2025मा चाहिँ यो कम्प्लिट हुन्छ। विपाशा, कार्यक्रममा स्वागत छ तपाईँलाई।
Thank you so much. So excited to be here.
थ्याङ्क यू। र त्यस्तै गरेर हाम्रो साथमा हुनुहुन्छ अर्का होनहार यङ साई श्रेष्ठ, जसले चाहिँ ब्याचलर अफ साइन्स बायोमेडिकल इन्जिनियरिङ गर्नुभएको थियो 2020देखि 24मा युनिभर्सिटी अफ फ्लोरिडा गेन्सविलबाट नै हो उहाँले पनि। साईजी, कार्यक्रममा स्वागत छ तपाईँलाई पनि।
नमस्ते सबजना।
र त्यस्तै गरेर मेरो साथमा अर्को गेस्ट हुनुहुन्छ अर्णव गौतम। उहाँले पनि युनिभर्सिटी अफ फ्लोरिडामा चाहिँ अनर्स डिग्री गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ। उहाँको चाहिँ 2027मा सकिँदैछ। ब्याचलर अफ साइन्स इन मेकानिकल इन्जिनियरिङ, माइनर कम्प्युटर साइन्स पनि गरिरहनु भएको छ। अर्णवजी, वेलकम टु द सो।
Well, thank you for the introduction and for this opportunity.
अनि सुरुमा अर्णवबाटै सुरु गर्छु म। अर्णव, तपाईँ फ्लोरिडामै जन्मिनु भयो होइन?
म चाहिँ नेपालमा born भएको थियो, and then एक वर्षमा यहाँ आएको। And then since I was 1, I've been in West Palm Beach.
Okay. How was your school life?
It was nice, growing up. I had a lot of Nepali friends in our community, so I never felt like outcasted or stray or anything like that. And I was able to get a diverse friend group in school and also be able to challenge myself with the education system here and still be able to learn from my peers and my friends around me.
Okay, very nice. Vipasa, how about you?
I was born in Nepal. I was there until I was around 8 years old. So my teen class Nepal saman gareko, and then we moved. Well, and then I moved here to the US, and we've been in Florida ever since.
Okay, 3 क्लाससम्म नेपाल पढेर यहाँ आएर पढ्दाखेरि did you find any difficulties in the beginning, or you were too small to remember that things?
No, I remember. It was the transition period was definitely very difficult. You know, when it like the English we spoke Nepalma wasn't as good as like Yako, so I had a very hard time keeping up with what my teachers were saying and connecting with my peers, especially. But I remember like wala math I just remember in 3rd grade they were learning like the 8 timetables or something, and then I remember, oh, I know up to 12. So I remember being really good at math, but other than that, I just remember that transition period, like that first, at least for the first couple of months, being really hard. Being able to like transition into like being able to speak English as well as kind of understanding the way the school system works here.
Okay, nice. Sai, how about you?
So, unlike Vipasha and Arnav, I was not born in Nepal. I was born in here, West Palm Beach, Florida. Though I like to tell people that I was created in Nepal, but born in the USA. So when she was 2 months pregnant, and then eventually my grandparents from my dad's side also moved here, and then we've been living in West Palm ever since. So I was acclimatized to the US, like, schooling and culture pretty quickly, but my parents and grandparents, made sure I stayed within my Nepali roots. After school, I always come home and I had Nepali homework to do as well. So I got a good mix of both, and that's why I'm able to speak Nepali and I'm very in tune with the culture as well.
Okay, so how difficult it was to manage, two sides of culture here and there, like, you have a Nepalese culture in your home, and in school and outside of your home with your friend, there is a different culture. So how you were managing, it was easy or it was added on, getting extra advantage of extra things, or it was kind of pressure thing?
Yeah, in the beginning, it was a little bit, it felt because all my friends, were a lot of like Americans, and it was like, they kind of saw me different when sometimes I would go to school wearing bubati on my forehead. So, people ask, "Oh, what are you wearing on your forehead?" And at the time I was younger, so I felt a little bit, like shy and like, a little bit embarrassed. But like, as I grew up, I started to embrace my culture more. I inform a lot of my friends. A lot of people don't know about Nepal. So it was good. It's like a good feeling moment just teaching about the country, the culture, our traditions, and now I'm like very proud to be Nepali. So
Okay, nice. So, so these things, the same question, Arnav.
Yeah, so for me, it was kind of a similar experience. Growing up, like I said earlier, I had a diverse friend group, but that still didn't mean all of them knew everything about Nepal or about me. And I remember specifically, like one of the biggest issues was just people mispronouncing or misspelling my name, which was always like a little annoying to me. But
Mhm.
like I want to say I got used to it, but I didn't. Like I kind of like always didn't like that, so I would always correct people whenever I could and explain to them like this is how you say my name, this is how you spell it. And I think that actually into more positions of leadership because like it gave me a chance to let people know like who I am, my culture, what I represent, and then because of that I got to grow into positions like my school president, and because of being Nepali, having that in my roots helped me get a different perspective on everything compared to everyone else who was born and raised in the US. And I think it really helped bring not only me closer to my culture, but also bring my friends and I closer to each other because we were able to share and have those experiences.
Okay, great things. So, Vipasa, do you have anything to share on this?
I think I also had very similar experiences as them. When we were younger, we definitely want to kind of not stick out because like you don't want to be made fun of and stuff. But I think as I've grown up more, I take pride in being Nepali, and the more I share about my culture, like and more people are intrigued to know. So I think like pretty similar experiences across the board.
अहिले सबैजनाले एउटै युनिभर्सिटीमा पढ्दै हुनुहुन्छ। स्कुल डिफ्रेन्ट थियो कि एउटै थियो, के थियो?
Like हामी like सानोमा पर्दाखेरि
अँ,
oh, I mean like different school. I think Arnav and Sai might have been in the same school for a little bit if I'm not wrong, but Malta, I wasn't like born like raised in West Palm Beach.
okay, so you were in the different school.
Yeah, I was in a different school.
Yeah,
Okay.
Sai and I went to the same middle school and high school, but during different times. So we only had 1 year of overlap in high school.
Okay, so time was different. So let's talk about the career. How you decide your career? I don't know, you are on the front, so let's start from you. So when you realize that you would like to be what you are doing right now.
Yeah, so ever since I was little, my parents always encouraged me to help people, and like most Nepali parents want their kids to be a doctor or a lawyer or something like that.
Mhm.
But for me, I was always more interested in working with my hands. And I remember specifically when I was I think 5 or 6 years old, I was at a library and my mom read me a book about Neil Armstrong, the astronaut. And then from there I was inspired to first be an astronaut, and then I decided I would rather stay here and work on the things that help them get to that point. And so that got me into engineering a lot. And then later I kept pursuing that in middle school. I know Sai had this class too. We had some classes where we would actually build stuff with our hands or with like Legos, and being able to put everything together really showed me like this is what I want to do. And then there were also like current events that overlapped with that, like the Nepal earthquake about like 7 years ago, I believe. And so when that happened, I was trying to find ways to give back, and I figured like the biggest problem at the time was also just infrastructure and engineering issues. And so growing up, I always thought if I could become an engineer, that could be something I could help with in the long run.
Okay, so earthquake was almost 9 years ago. So the same question goes to the Sai. So how you decided about your career? Did anybody mentor you, guided you, or you just found yourself interest on something and you pursue on that? How you entered in the biomedical engineering?
Yeah, so like in my household, like there's no one's really STEM background. So
Mhm.
the interest of STEM came to myself. So like funny enough, Arnold mentioned like I wanted to be an astronaut for the longest time as well. So like science was something that always fascinated me, knowing more about ourselves and more about, especially wanting to be an astronaut about the world outside. And like Arnav said, like middle school, we were fortunate enough to have a magnet program for STEM program, where like you said, we learned to build like roller coasters or like build Legos and buildings and learn about that very quickly at a young age. And also transitioning into high school where we had another STEM program, which further interested our ideologies in STEM. And as for me, for biomedical engineering, so like I also like to work with my hands as well. I like to fix problems and do a lot of critical thinking. But I also was in a dilemma where like I also thought about being a doctor as well because I thought the aspect of patient care was like really something that like resonated with me. But just finding like other ways because like patient care is like you use a lot of your hands, but not really with technology. And I was still fascinated with technology as well. So I found a good median with biomedical engineering. And that's just something I want to do and, help build specifically my areas, medical devices. And I know I see a lot of health disparities, like not only just in Nepal, but in a lot of other areas of the world where they don't have that kind of access to technology and knowledge. So just using my expertise and, hopefully in the future where I can help these areas, of course, my motherland, Nepal, but just I want to help the world through technology and health and better health.
Okay, nice. Bipasa, how about your experience?
Mine was a little different. Still very like STEM oriented throughout like middle and high school, but I think all throughout high school I was like, I want to be a doctor. That's how I want to help people. But once I got to college, the story was a little different. I kind of wanted to kind of take a peek at what I was interested in and what were my skill sets. So I kind of applied to the engineering college and then was a computer science major for a little bit, switched out because I was like, I can't quite see myself being in front of a computer 24/7 in terms of a career.
Mhm.
And one of what I like to think is my skill is that I think I have really great communication skills and I love talking with people and getting to know people. So I wanted a little bit more client-facing roles when I did get to a point in my career. So I switched over to the business school and I'm doing more of like an IT major within the business school because while I'm still working with tech, I am more so kind of like that middleman between what a CS major might do and what a client might be looking for. So that's kind of where I landed on my major. But everybody in college says that your major doesn't define your career and you don't really have to go
Yeah.
into that. So currently I am a digital marketing and e-commerce intern.
Mhm.
And this is a new side that I've never kind of quite explored. I'm getting to be creative while still working with data and databases and stuff. So it's been really fun and I've been enjoying it.
Okay, so it was a little bit about your background, so how you came up here. So now let's talk about the project that you guys are doing. So especially with Engineers Without Borders. So how you guys came together on this one? So let's start with Vipasha.
Yeah, so Engineers Without Borders is an international organization, and there's like US, and then there's also Nepal. But within the country, we have different chapters. So UF has two different projects under Engineers Without Borders. There's one for Nepal and there's one for Peru. The Nepal project team has been active for, I believe, around 10 years or so. So long before we were even at UF or even maybe thinking about applying to UF.
Right.
I think Sai is the first one out of all of us to have joined EWB, if I'm not wrong. But what Engineers Without Borders, especially for Nepal, what we do is that we are a water-based project. So what happens is that there is a school in Phulbari around an hour, maybe hour and a half from Bonepa. If you know, yeah, it's like an hour. It's still kind of on that highway. I think it's called the BP highway, I believe. Yeah, so there's a school there. We've been partnering with them for 3 or 4 years. And what happens at the school is that they get water from the local government, but the water is not very clean. So when we tested the water, there's a high levels of E. coli as well as other bacteria that the students just drink out of the faucet, wash hands with kind of their day to day. So what we do is we find how we can make the water clean to use as well as other sources because bela-bela mate pani sugiko huncha, so there's not enough water to use throughout the year. So what we just did, or like the last phase of our project, was we installed a gutter system around the school that kind of like leads to a reservoir that they can use during the wintertime when the water might not be that good. So our project kind of works in different phases according to what the school needs. So it's all based on what the community wants more than like kind of what we want to do, if that makes sense.
So, okay,
Um,
I'll come to the project detail
okay.
later on. So I was just trying to know that what motivated you to join on this Engineers Without Borders? So that I would like to know from the Arnav and Sai. So Arnav.
Yeah, so mine and kind of I feel like it just makes sense, right? Because I wanted to go into engineering to help people, and there was already a project of Nepal, which is where I'm from. And so I feel like the logical option would just be to join it. But even beyond that, I always wanted to join clubs in a way that I could give back. So I'm also part of a couple other clubs at UF, some that give back directly to UF and one that helps build medical technologies. And so I thought EWB would be like the perfect club to join in addition to those, because then I can not only work on my design skills and work on my communication skills in Nepali, I can also directly give back to the community that helped raise me. And so it just made sense to join. And so as soon as I found out about it from Bipasha and Sai, I ended up joining it.
Okay, nice. So as Vipasa said, that Sai was the first member to join this AWB. So Sai, how you found it and what motivated you to join this?
Yeah, so I found out this club my sophomore year of college because freshman year was 2020. So still during that COVID year where, we weren't allowed to really go out of our dorms and there weren't a lot of club interactions among the campus. So I actually found this club on a flyer on one of my classrooms outside, and I saw a Nepal chapter. That instantly resonated with me because I have a personal connection with Nepal. And just the idea that everyone should have the right to basic human needs like clean food, clean water. I was in Habitat for Humanity during my middle school, so building houses for the unprivileged and for the homeless. So that already I kind of had like a background on wanting to give back to less fortunate people. And just when I go to Nepal, on trips with my family, this past trip, I was fortunate enough to go see Jomsom and Mustang. And I got to meet a lot of the younger kids there, seeing, they don't really have the access to the most clean water, like, and clean food, so that like inspired me to like, push even further with EWB. And I saw their project goals and what they were focusing on, and it really resonated with me, and that was something that I wanted to do. I wish I could have done all 4 years at UF, but only managed to get 3 years. So
Okay. So was there any pressure or, that pushing things from your family? So you should keep something to Nepal or you should do something to Nepal, or your parents used to say something like that, that also help you to join this? Is there any parental role?
well, it's not really pressure, but always, my parents and my grandparents, they're big followers of Sai Baba. And Sai Baba is always, wants to give back, helping people, love all, serve all. So that always like, that motto always like, made sense with me, like I was born in a much more privileged place than most other people were. And the least I can do is like, use what I've learned and what I've gained to help back to the less fortunate and to other communities in my motherland. So it's not really I felt pressured to do it, but it just felt like within my heart, like that's, what I want to do and want to keep doing as I, further grow my career and I can help in other ways as well.
Okay, your kind of family culture help you, like your name is also Sai, so it comes from their your parents. They follow the Sai Baba, and Sai Baba gives back to the other needy people. So it was always there that in your family culture that we should give back to the needy people. Okay,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
yeah, so is there anything connected, uh, Arnav, in your family that how they treat you or how they motivate you, how they help you to give back and to work in your utilizing your hobbies, those kind of things?
Yeah, so mine is like really similar to size. It's not really pressure, but more so encouragement. Like our parents were always giving back to Nepal, like donating whenever they could, or like whenever we go to mandirs and do prayers, they would always try and donate.
Mhm.
And like even if we had like very little to give, they would still find something that they could give back with. And they kind of instill the same kind of passion in me from a young age. So growing up, I was involved in Boy Scouts and we did a lot of service projects that were similar to kind of not exactly what we're doing in Nepal now, but in a similar sense of giving back to those who need it more than we do. And my parents have always been supportive of me, like pursuing my passions and specifically being an engineer. So when they heard that I was involved with this project and that I was able to give back directly, they were just proud to hear it. And they've always been supportive from day one. So I'm really appreciative of that.
Okay, that's very nice. So I'll come to Vipasa about how is your family helping you to achieve your goal?
Yeah, I think unlike mm, some Asian parents, my family's always been a little bit more relaxed in terms of letting me figure it out, kind of like let me make my mistakes at the pace I want to make them and kind of learn from that instead of holding my hands throughout life type of thing. So similar to like there was never any pressure to like do anything. But there was that like learning and giving back that was always instilled from a very young age that kind of felt like natural. It was almost felt like a habit instead of any sort of force to join Engineers Without Borders.
Okay. Okay, so we came to know that how you guys came to Engineers Without Border, and then how your family is helping you to give back. So now let's talk about that, how you guys are giving back. So Bipasa, already you told that you guys are already doing the project. Clean water project is there. So is this the Fulbari project is the same one or it is the different one?
It's the same project. So we've originally had different projects throughout Nepal before with EWB but we weren't involved in those because this project has been the main project since we've been at UF.
Okay. You guys have raised the $30,000 amount for this project. What was that?
Yeah, I can take that. So we're kind of divided into teams. There's 5 sub-teams within the organization, and one of them is fundraising. So what the fundraising team does is we host fundraisers, grants, and stuff like that to kind of raise money. So that 30,000, which we raised last year, was what we raised as an organization. And I believe there were around 5 or 6 people in the fundraising committee.
Okay, so now let's talk about that. So how it is difficult to run this kind of project in Nepal being here? So how is your whole team that is working in this project and how you guys are managing like, fundraising and fund utilizing? So how this project is running?
Yeah, so within those sub teams, so wait, Arnav, correct me if I'm wrong. So there's design, there is like planning, monitoring, evaluation, there's communications, there's fundraising, and there's enrichment. So within those 5 teams, we have a lead for everybody. So Arnav for this upcoming school year is our communication lead. And then in the beginning, so communication, so leads for each team as well as projects lead that kind of oversee the entire project, making sure everything is running smoothly and everybody's kind of like hitting their goals, whatever that may be. So they kind of meet almost every week, figuring out what we need to do separately as a team and what we need to do together as a whole group. Apart from that, we have a community partner, Nepal Mai. उहाँ चाहिँ engineer हुनुहुन्छ. His name is Shri Krishna Dital, and he's an engineer. He's our community partner. He stays very close to the school, like 10 minutes, 20 minutes walk from the school. And he kind of is our like on the ground, our eyes, everything. He's what he's managing in Nepal, and then everything from like designing what the project looks like to fundraising, everything else is what we're providing from here. And then every so often, around maybe once a year, our team, around 3 to 4 people from the UF team, do visit Nepal to see what's the progress like.
So monitoring पनि हुन्छ. So Arnav or Sai, would you like to add on this?
Yeah, I can add to that. So in addition to everything Bipasha mentioned, which is very accurate, we also have a couple other connections, one being Dr. Datta Rawa, and he's very helpful. He helps a lot on the logistics sides of things, and he's very he gives back to Nepal a lot. So in including this project that he's doing with us, he also has projects helping with the recent earthquake recovery, and he has a wide array of projects. So we're lucky to have him on our side too to help us with this. And in addition to all that, we have like a lot of things that we do with other universities that are involved in EWB, whether they're based in the US, where we can do info sessions and gain information from them on how they're running things and we share how we're running things, or teams that are based in Nepal. Like we're currently in contact with Kathmandu University, I believe, and Pulchok University. And so that's helped lessen the load on us a lot logistics wise because they're able to go out and take measurements for us or give us direct input on what is available in Nepal versus us just having to go through Shri and Datta for everything. Now we have other students who are also engineers helping us with this project beyond our current scope. So having that as a resource has been really helpful and very impactful.
Okay, Sai, how was it when you joined? Was it running smoothly or what, there was a lot of things to set up? How was it?
So I believe when I joined, they were actually beginning to close another project in Kathmandu. I forgot which school they were working on, but it was locally in Kathmandu they were closing. So I got to see the ending towards of it, but like Arnav and Bipasha, the Fulgari, I got to see the whole project come as from the beginning. And now I don't know if we're close to finishing that project, but I won't be able to see that, but I'm still in touch via the communications team. So it's I think the transitions because we've had new leads come in now, new project leads, new sub team leads. So I got to see a transition of EWB, but I think it's safe to say that we're in good hands for the future of EWB Nepal.
Okay. So as Vipasa mentioned, there are 5 pillar of this project. So and each one has a lead. So how many total members are there in all, including all in 5? If you don't know the exact number, you can say.
I believe we're hovering just for Nepal team, but so we're going through another transition period where like the Peru team and the Nepal team are merging. But before that, just the Nepal team itself, I believe we were hovering around 50, 58, if I'm not wrong. Yeah,
Okay.
across all 5 teams.
Across 5 teams for the Nepal project only.
Yeah, just for the Nepal project.
Nepal project around 50 people.
Yes, around 50 people.
How is the combination? Are all Nepalese or how is their ethnic background?
Oh, it's like wide variety. Like there's no everybody's welcome. If you want some experience, please feel free to join. It's not limited to just engineers either. If you want to get your hands on, kind of get that experience, then you're welcome. We do have like an application and interview process, which is pretty standard across all organizations at UF. But apart from that, like there's not just Nepalese in the organization.
Okay, so for that project, they need to be in the UF, University of.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so there is no limitation on the number of anyone qualified people can join on this.
Yeah. But there are, I guess, limitations such as for the communications team specifically, if you're not Nepali or if you can't speak Nepali, then it might be a bit of a like, a little
Difficult,
misunderstanding type of
difficult to
thing.
be
But
learned.
yeah, like difficult to kind of integrate with the team. But apart from that, like literally everybody and anyone is welcome.
Okay. So how it is helping that being the people from different part of world, how it is helping to run the project, or it is being difficult to make the people understand the things? What is its response?
I think that having people from everywhere, it helps us kind of gain different perspective and their experiences kind of shape their perspective. So I believe it helps us work together better and come up with better solutions. I might be thinking of something that Arnav probably isn't thinking of just because of my experiences. So it kind of helps us overall be a good team, but you kind of being in a different country, and if you've never traveled to that country, it might be a little bit hard to understand the cultural nuances. That's kind of where the communication team steps in. And I think this past year or two, we have done a really good job about cultural literacy, kind of making just a general organization aware of like how things operate in Nepal, as well as like our holidays, and how we celebrate stuff, and things like that. Yeah.
Okay, so Sai or Arnav, would you like to add on this? How the diversity is helping pros, cons?
Yeah, I can add something. So, basically what Bipasha said, like all of that is completely true. And especially like the fact that everyone who's joining knows that it's a project in Nepal helps a lot because everyone who's joining comes in with an open mind. Because for the most part, most people only know Nepal either for like Mount Everest or maybe Buddha, like very few specific things, right? They don't know anything about the culture or even the language. And so because of that, they're coming in with an open mind and a blank slate. So us being part of the communications team helps to get that shape their minds and tell them like this is what Nepal is, this is what Nepalese culture is. And so to help with that, we do a lot of things pretty often to help bring up their cultural literacy. Like at the start of every meeting, usually we'll have something about Nepali culture, whether it's about food or if we're teaching them a word or sentence in Nepali or telling them about like Dase or Tihar. And so, or even like Holi, whenever something comes around that we can teach them about, everyone's open ears and they love to learn about it and experience it for themselves. Especially like everybody in the club loves Momo, for example. Like we've even done Momo fundraisers and everyone's just like very open-minded and helps bring us all closer together and work even better as a team.
So anything else from the side?
Yeah, I agree. Like having all this diversity just helps with, because we have the 5 different sub teams, so everyone's background can help in each sub team. We even have people that are multiple sub teams that help, and as well as like, so, spreading the culture. Like, if we have a major holiday, Nepali holiday coming, everyone's informed on why we celebrate it and how we celebrate it. And this past year, we actually like made a big step to spreading awareness about Nepal. We held a cultural session at one of the museums at Gainesville, and we just had basically everyone from the club. We had a fashion show wearing traditional Nepali clothes, and we had a lot of wonderful performances from our EWB sponsors and people who are associated with us. And we had a large turnout of crowds. A lot of people who learned a lot more about Nepal and about the art, the history, and all about our tradition. So I think definitely having this big team of diversity just helps spread the word about our beautiful country and how there and what we stand for as EWB, helping with the water sanitation problems, and just just getting that word out there just helps EWB Nepal chapter grow every year. So
Okay, very nice to know that. Yeah, it looks like that you guys are giving back to the Nepal and working on the different project there. And along with that, you are promoting Nepal as well in the. Let's talk a little bit more about this project. So you guys are being involved there and doing things. So let's go from the side. How this involvement is helping you in your career.
yeah, so basically, working with so all even though we're in 5 separate subgroups, we're all, like we all work together. Like we have to that helps because working in such a big team, especially like when you working in big companies and you have project deadlines, and you have to work with other subunits of the company. It's a lot of it can be stressful at times. Communicating with each other. So definitely joining this club like has helped me professionally. As like now I'm starting my full-time career at a biomedical company. We have so many different divisions across our company, so just having getting those interpersonal communication skills from EWB this helps me professionally, and this helps me helps me just like be more like organized and be more attentive to others as well, because you may have one idea and someone else may have another idea, but you can't just prioritize your idea over other people's ideas. You have to have an open mind about everything, and just help me be a better like a team player for everyone else. So yeah.
So let's go to the Arnav.
Yeah, so for me, EWB, like even in my first year, has boosted me a lot professionally because I'm getting experiences with people who have way more knowledge than I do in the professional world, like even Sai being an example. And so there are so many people in the organization who are open to helping you and helping develop you to a further point. And EWB itself is also involved with a lot of pre-professional stuff. Like, for example, we have the Florida section of the American Waterworks Association. They hold annual conferences that EWB attends every year. And this upcoming year, we're going to a couple conferences in North Carolina. And being in those positions lets you interact with all these people who have been in these fields for way longer than you've even been alive. And they know like a lot more than you do. And you just get to learn and soak it all in. And so, and everyone in the org too is very helpful. Like, I remember there was a few times where the co-president or co-leads were helping me go through my LinkedIn and update everything and helping me check my resume. And it's just a great resource to have, whether or not you're like an engineer or if you're in the communications team. Everyone there is there to help you out some way or another.
Wow, wonderful. So Vivasa, how it is helping you?
Yeah, definitely. I think it helps us really enhance our soft skills. And if this is our first time working in a very much like a team setting, it kind of like sets expectations, sets goals, how to reach those goals. And of course, you're not alone. You have your leads and you have the project leads kind of there to help you, guide you. And I think through this club and organization, I've learned my leadership style and just like the way I like to work, as well as how to manage team under me. Specifically, like Arnav's just like 2 years younger than me, so we're kind of almost peers, but kind of being able to take orders from him. And when I was lead, him kind of like coming to me and asking questions and stuff. So it kind of like helps us make sure that we're supporting each other.
Okay, very nice to know. So let's talk about the things that you already did in Nepal. So now you've primarily focused on the water sanitation, yeah? Okay, so that project is already there in the Fulbari and it's going on. It's already helping a lots of more than 250 people's community members and already harvested the 10,000 liters of water, those kind of things. So are you guys thinking of continuing these things, or are you exploring other opportunities, or what are your future plan for giving back to Nepal? So we can start with anyone. So Bipasa, if you want. So let's.
Yeah, so we're planning to stay with the school in Pulvari for a little while because we still haven't quite finished where we want to be at. And like I mentioned earlier, our project is very much based on what the community wants. So we did the water sanitation, which is still ongoing. It's not quite finished yet. We installed hand washing stations, and now the next phase we're kind of phasing into is that the bathrooms that they have is kind of so the schools kind of sits on like leveled ground, but the bathroom you have to go down the stairs, and that's where like all the bathrooms are lined up. It's not the safest for kids, and it's not very accessible. Like the girls go side the bathroom, it's all bushes and stuff, so very inaccessible to the girls specifically. So we're trying to figure out how we can make that one more accessible, add more hand washing stations, and make it more safe. किनभने त्यहाँ बत्ती राम्रोसँग चल्दैन, and the school doesn't have any working electricity at all. So we're trying to see if that's also something that we can add on to our project. Kind of having maybe if it's to like add solar panels or figure out another way we can work with the community or the local government to get the school electricity. So we're planning to stay with the school for a little bit more, for sure.
So one thing that I would like to add at this same time, so we talked a little bit ago that this is helping you guys in different way, like in your professional development, communication, more manage, or those kind of things. How it is hampering your in personal career, because some of you are still studying, working, and this is a professional organization, so it demands some of your time. So how you guys are managing your time, because you guys are kind of teenage people, and you may like to enjoy, spend time on other things also. So how you guys are managing time?
I think what's important to you, you prioritize. So, and for the club specifically, we have a pretty good schedule on how we run. So Thursdays is when we have the general body meeting with everybody. Of course, your studies take priority over all, but if it's something important to you, then you make time for it, is generally how I've kind of lived my college experience like. So like and I'm pretty organized in terms of having my Google Calendar, having an agenda, making sure that any little meeting, any small activities that I'm doing with the group, not just Engineers Without Borders, but other things I'm involved in, as well as my school, homework, library, it's all on the calendar. It helps me pretty much like, if it's not on my calendar, I probably won't show up. So yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it's ever hampering. Yeah, I don't think it's ever hampering. I think it allows me to grow as a person and as a student, and how I can like organize my time and kind of like use whatever potential I have to kind of like so I'm at my 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I
So
agree with Bipasha, but personally for me, like I know some people that only, work. They don't prioritize. I have like a work-life balance. So just having that work-life balance just helps, whether it's like, I love to play soccer. So whether it's I can like go for a few days off, I can, go out to the field and play with my friends or go to the gym or like, go out for a run. This helps, clear my mind and any stress or weight I have on my shoulders so that I'm like even better when I'm headed to the next EWB meeting or my next test. Just clearing your mental is just as important as well. And I think it's very stressful or very important to say that, especially in like with our Nepalese community, a lot of pressure coming. Uncles and aunties, you hear about their kids are doing very well in school, and it brings a little bit of pressure from your parents on you. But it's always from both aspects, from the kid and from the parents, to understand that it's always the mental health is number one priority to making sure that you're okay, and to be happy is like more important than getting the A+ on your test, right? Having perfect marks is just all like mental health. I emphasize is the most important thing.
I don't know. What do you like to add?
Yeah, so I agree with both of them. I think EWB for me is a priority, but at the same time, you know, things can get to be a lot sometimes. Like I've had days where I'm going back and forth between our EWB office area to our meetings and going back home to work on more EWB stuff. And sometimes it can definitely get overwhelming, but at the same time, you have to think about why you're doing it, right? Like you're in a position where you're already privileged. Like I have a bed to sleep on, I have clean water to drink, I have a bathroom, like simple things like that that other kids just aren't getting. And so it really gives you more drive to get those things done. But at the same time, it's also important, like what Sai was saying, to have a good balance and focus on your mental health too. So, you know, it's like work hard, play hard, get some time to where you can finish everything you need to get done and then spend some time for yourself, go hang out with your friends. And it also helps that a lot of our friends are in EWB as well. So it's like the meetings aren't tedious, like the work isn't tedious. It's just, you know, it is going to be work, but at least you have people with you that you can get it done with and you're doing it for a good cause.
Okay, very wonderful things that I heard from our audience also will love this one because at this age also you guys have learned a lot and I got a way mature answer from you guys and it's very wonderful. Okay, so कसैले पनि भनेन कि यहाँ चाहिँ टाइम वेस्टको कुरा चाहिँ कसैले पनि गरेन होइन सो when do you feel that I wasted time on these kind of feel चाहिँ कहिले आउँछ विपाशा or any one of you if you remember you can answer before she answers.
Honestly, I cannot think of a time where I've been like, "Oh, that was such a waste of time," type of thing. I feel like every experience, especially in college, it's such like a monumental moment kind of in your life where you're learning to live by yourself and taking care of yourself and figuring things you like want to do, don't want to do, figuring out like your friends and figuring out really much like figuring yourself out. I feel like throughout my time at UF, nothing has ever felt like a waste of time. Everything has definitely been a learning experience. And sure, there's been time where I probably made mistakes, or there's been times where things didn't go as according to plan. But I think it just helps me for the next time that I might be doing something similar to maybe plan better or allocate more time to that. Yeah, I don't think it has ever been like, oh, it's like waste of time. Yeah.
Waste of time not only in terms of involving in this club or something, so doing something in your personal life also including that,
Um,
like sometime you may waste your time by
okay,
watching
maybe like on my phone,
or
sometimes I'm like, because like you'll have a pretty long day, right? And you go home and you're like, oh, I want to rewind or something, but you're scrolling on your phone for a little bit and then you feel guilty. And I'm like, oh, I just feel like I just wasted my time instead of I could have done something else, like I don't know, maybe like reading or like watched a movie, but I'm just like scrolling on Instagram.
okay, so what is your screen time average?
Oh, my screen time is actually really good now. I found an app. It's called Screen Zen. So it basically you can open it for a certain amount of times throughout the day. So I have it set as 5 open, so I can only open Instagram 5 times a day. After that 5 times, and it's also 10 minutes. So like at the most, I can go up to those 10 minutes, and then after that, it's done, and I can't open it for like that entire 24 hours. So right now I'm hovering around like 2 hours, an hour, 2 hours, but it's really hard because my entire work revolves around social media. So sometimes I do have to be on it a lot more than I would like. But like for my personal time, it's hovering around like an hour or 2 hours.
Okay, so how about your Arno?
Yeah, so I think for me, like I've never thought of anything as a waste of time per se, but more so like a mismanagement of my time. Like stuff that I'm doing, staying up to like 2 o'clock doing homework that I could have gotten done earlier if I just focused. Or even like there were times when like right before EWB meetings, I would be taking a nap to catch up on my sleep. Like there were a lot of times where I just didn't manage my time well, but I think the most important thing is to just take it in stride and keep moving forward, right? Because at the end of the day, the stuff has to get done, and it doesn't matter how you get it done as long as it is done. And then, like Bipasha was saying, it's also important to take a step back and rewind or relax and figure out what you're gonna do next later. Like take some time for yourself and just be present in the moment and relax and sit back.
So,
Oh yeah, I agree. Like nothing's really felt like a waste of time for me. Except I do have to admit that, middle freshman year, my everything was online on Zoom recording. So Puela, I would just like wake up for class, the camera off, whatever, so I would miss the whole lesson. And I was like, oh, why we have to do this online class, because I learned better like in person than on Zoom. And kung the professor when he would go technical issues and so on, the class would be delayed by like 10-15 minutes, so Jiao lag too.
mhm.
So, but like looking back at it now, at that time it was, we didn't have a choice with the epidemic going on. But yeah, but ever since then, I told myself, I can't let my marks fall just because, this pandemic happened. Like, I slowly learned how to adapt with the online learning. And then once everything went back into person, it was everything went a lot smoother for me. So I guess I kind of felt like, that was a waste of a time, but same time it taught me that it's important, and this world is changing so fast, and like, you can either get left behind or you have to adapt to it. So I learned the hard way freshman year, but now I'm happy where I'm at. So
Okay, very nice. Yes, the world is changing very fast, whether left behind or move with it. Okay. Okay, धेरै राम्रो राम्रो कुराहरू सुन्न पाइरहेछ मलाई पनि एकदम खुसी लागिरहेछ. So you guys are really doing really good things. So as a project, अघि विपासाले पनि भनिसके कि you will be staying with this project for some time. So with these engineers without border, uh, beside that also, do you guys have any thoughts, or are you planning any things, or you might plan in future? So I'm really thinking about, beyond 10, 15 years. So let's go from Arnav.
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest things that EWB helped me with personally was also figuring out what I want to do in the future. Because one of the reasons I've been sticking more with communications over something like design is because I've realized like I love the aspect of helping people, but I don't know if my future is with infrastructure and building these things that we've been building through our project. And like it's something I'd want to help on, but I don't know if it's something I'd want to do as a career. So like I mentioned earlier, I'm also part of a medical design team called Dream Team Engineering, where we work on basically building stuff to help doctors. So like my current project right now, we're working on making a mixed reality model for a surgery where they're both doing a physical version and a virtual version of it, and it's connected. And so something like that has really piqued my interest. And so lately I've been exploring the field of medical technologies the most, where I can build things that'll help people, help doctors, and kind of like what Sai's doing already as his job, but more so in the aspect of just pure designing it and being able to come up with solutions from my own mind. And I think like as long as I'm able to keep making things with my hands, keep creating things, I'll be okay regardless of what field I go into.
Okay. So what about you, Sai?
yeah, so like Arna was saying, like, I want to do something with the health disparities in Nepal, and especially in the very remote areas of Nepal. Like my dad's ancestral home is Bhojpur, and it's very, in the hills, and very secluded, very far away from the hospitals, if anything was to happen. So I want to just help, bridge the gap between those health disparities, whether it's, help in funding for like hospitals or help funding in new medical technologies, or even just having, informing the people of the village about, how much healthcare has come over these past years, just to help them have a better quality of life and a longer life as well. And I'm also been working with a few other organizations. I believe All for Ball might have already come to this podcast. I'm not too sure yet, but it's ran by Aaron Busnet and Lena Busnet and their family, where they basically just help build these sporting grounds for the kids in schools, to help them encourage the kids to come, to school more, learn more and either get rewarded by, by playing football or badminton or basketball or other sports. So I'm also connected with them as well and just helping that because I'm a big sports person as well. And if I was to put the kids, if I was in the kids' shoes, if my school didn't have any football ground or any sports ground, it would be like a little bit, less encouraged to go to school. But when you have that there, you work hard, play hard, like Arnold said before. So yeah, just working with Offer Ball as well, and just staying in touch with other organizations. Hopefully when I grow older and I'm saving my funds and I can go to Nepal on my own and see for myself, what other organizations that are currently there that are helping with these issues. I know pollution's a big issue in Kathmandu right now, but with Balan, he's helping to tackle a lot of those problems as well. So, just working with also the future generation of Nepal. Having I think we mentioned or talking about this in EW, but having mentoring sessions with some of the students in Nepal, like via Skype call, helping them with any professional or any questions they have with their resume, and so that's maybe a long-term project of EWB. Not too sure if we have time to do that right now, but I feel like that would also just having that mentoring for other students in Nepal to learn more about professional development and any other questions they have for us as being Nepali American students here.
Okay, very nice, very great and inspiring project. And yes, Alpha Ball is really doing great work and very impactful projects that I have also seen. Yes, the youth investors are doing really great job with great leadership. So, Bipasa, what about you? Your futures?
I think very same in terms of I want to continue what I've started of like giving back in whatever regards it may look at. I've kind of already made in my mind that I want to like go back to Nepal and like retire there or even spend like maybe in my late 20s there. I think it's such like a monumental moment in my life and I've have like such strong connections with it. So regardless of what that might look like, whether I'd be working there or just volunteering and stuff, I definitely have dreams to go back for an extended period of time.
Okay, so now we talk a lot of things about you, your project, and your thoughts. So will be available in the social media, including the YouTube. So young people might listen you guys, and they might be confused at how to give back to Nepal or how to be involved socially and contribute. People do job, they earn money, and they live a kind of life, but some people wants to involve in the community, they want to make impactful project, but they don't know how to start with and where, how. It's not only the Engineers Without Border, but there are a lot of organizations are there to be involved. But what it needs to be involved there, because everybody doesn't involve there. Some only involve like you guys. So what would you like to advise or how you would like to motivate them to get involved in such organization? So let's.
I can start with this. Yeah, so I think there's many different ways to give back, right? Whether it's just donating money to an organization like EWB or All for Ball or like or is it Ball for All? One of the two. But or like the ARCSA project I was mentioning earlier. But I think especially for kids, the most important thing is just to find your passion and find what makes you happy and what you like to do and figure out a way to channel that into being able to help other people, whether it's with engineering like we do or with doctors who go out and actually help people like physically, or even if it's something like creating businesses that provide solutions to people in Nepal and places in Nepal where you're able to give them resources that they don't have or improving current conditions. There's like so many different fields and so many different ways to give back. It's just about finding what you like to do so that way when you give back, it's not like something you're doing as a responsibility, but rather as a passion.
Okay, great. What about Sai?
Yeah, so I would just recommend that, networking with new people is very important. I know maybe, like especially with me, I'm very reserved and a shy kid, so I don't really like talking to new people. But that's the best way to grow as a person because when you meet new people, even if they're not in the same career lines as you, they may know someone that, has the same interests as you and they could connect you with them as well, which can open up a whole new pathway for you. So I would say just push yourself to network. There's a lot of apps nowadays that are helpful for professional networking, like LinkedIn, that helped me meet a lot of people in my field, to help me kickstart my career and just staying in touch with, the Nepali community. I was very fortunate to be growing in the West Palm Beach community. We had Bajan every Thursday, with Arnav. We had Patsala where, we reinforce our Nepali, learn how to read, write, the cultures. We even performed in some of the NASA's like Dase events. We did dances and performances. So just staying in touch with other people is the best way I can recommend to if you have any aspirations and you don't know where to start, there's always a mentor out there for you that can help you, chase your dreams. So
Yes, the NAF also has the youth forum, so they can involve in there also. So Bipasa, would you like to add anything on this?
I think they summed it up pretty well. Trying to find a mentor is also nice if you don't really know where to start. Yeah, I think finding somebody or even peers around your age and see what they're doing is a great place to start. I think like Sai kind of was like our main point for EWB stuff because without him, we probably would have not known or like kind of realized the details of the project and stuff. And Sai's only a year older than me, so like they don't have to be quite older in terms of mentoring. They can even be just like a year or like just a different point in their careers. And it's really easy to, as Arnav said, it's really easy to start anywhere as long as you have the passion and the drive to do so. So don't feel as if you have to force to give back. Make sure it comes from like a good place in your heart.
Okay, very nice. So we are progressing and we have talked a lot of things. So this show is sponsored by Santosh Stapit. Santosh Stapit is a real estate agent. So if you guys have any real estate related questions or things that you can contact him. santoshstapitkeys.com visit गर्न पनि सक्नुहुन्छ. So we came to the end of this show. So anything that I forgot to ask and you guys want to speak? So is there anything that you would like to say something? So let's start from Sai.
I'd just like to say thank you for NAF and thank you Madhu and Neeraj Shrestha as well for giving us this opportunity to inform other young Nepalis about our project and just about how where we came from and how we were able to go to how we are now. If there's any questions, I don't know if I can leave my contact details if anyone that needs a mentor or any help with any professional development as I'm transitioning into adulthood now, even though I still feel like a teenager. You can feel free to reach out to me. I want to help in any way I can, and I just want to say thank you again for this wonderful opportunity.
So Arnav.
Yeah, pretty much same thing as Sai. Like, if anyone needs help with anything, feel free to contact me. Like, all my socials are pretty much just my name. Yeah, very grateful for this opportunity and just to be able to broadcast what we're doing with our project and share it with the Nepali community. And also, just really quick, if anyone does want to help out with our project, you can go on ewbuflnepal.com. And there's ways to donate or even just learn more about our current project or previous projects we did. And you can also see like our other executive board members who have been helping with this project for longer than we've been on the project pretty much. And yeah, you can just go over there and get some new information and contact us if you need anything or want to learn anything more.
Thank you. Vipasa.
Yeah, thank you so much, NAF, for giving us a platform to speak about us, our journey, as well as Engineers Without Borders. We're very thankful for that. And like Arnav mentioned, please do check out our website. And get to know more about our project. If you want to donate, please do so. And if you want to donate a big amount, we can do a sponsorship for you. And we are a nonprofit. If we didn't mention that before, we are a 301c3 nonprofit. So if you need like any sort of tax forms and stuff, we can figure that out too. So thank you so much, NAF, for giving us an opportunity to speak about our project.
Okay. Thank you guys for your time and valuable views. It was really wonderful talking with you guys, and I wish you all the successful career, journey, your life ahead. Thank you for being with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.